Hello everybody and welcome back to another tank review for World Tanks, and this is the Pershing. Now, Pershing, tier 8 medium American tank. It's, well, it really is what the American is about. It's jack of all trades, master of none, and yeah, this is exactly it. It doesn't really have the best armor. It doesn't have the best gun. It's not super fast. It's not, well, really maneuverable. But it's not the worst at anything, so at least we got that going for us. But yeah, the tank, the Pershing, once it entered World War II, it was designated as a heavy tank. Not so much after the end of it. Now, in the realistic aspect of this, the Pershing was made to hunt down tigers, panthers, and king tigers, or tiger twos, or whatever you want to call them. Panzer 6B, and it did a very good job at it. And its larger modified brother, the Super Pershing, was even better, at least in real life, not so much in the game. Now, tigers, of course, they're at tier 7, not the biggest threat, but they got the same amount of armor frontally, except that the front of the Pershing is sloped. So 101mm of armor here is a lot more when sloped, but you should never, ever, ever rely on the armor of the Pershing. Never ever. Especially not the gun mantlet. Because unlike other American tanks, and this goes for the Patton as well, the gun mantlet, well, it's still 101mm, I think it is, and the turret armor is 127, as you can see over here. But that is only around this area here. Not inside, just around the mantlet is where the turret armor is. Inside here, yeah, it's only 101mm about, depending on what angle. And everyone at tier 7, 8, 9 and 10 will manage to hit you every time. Now, you might get the lucky shot here and there that will bounce and be deflected due to angles, but never count on it to actually bounce anything, because most of the times it won't. And the gun, on the other hand, is not the best at all. 90mm T15E2M2, 180mm of penetration and 240 damage. Okay, so let's fire this one up, and let's go to the other tanks that we have, or that I have rather, and don't have an 8 there, and not there. No. How about... Of course, I've sold all my 8s. That's just... no. It's just... perfect. Japan? No. Well, so far I only got the 20 pounder, but as you can see, 180mm, 226. Yeah. The Pershing is not the strongest tank, but you can make it work. It's actually quite a decent, well, tank if you can manage to not have the enemy shoot at you, and you get to shoot at, well, the flanks, rear, and other weak spots. Now, there's a problem. Tier 10. Most tier 10 heavy tanks, tank destroyers, have a ridiculous amount of armor, like the E75. Now, I have not yet managed to penetrate a E75 from the side with the Pershing, even if I have 180 millimeters of penetration, average penetration. So it can go down and it can go up, of course. So either I'm really unlucky and always get a low roll on the penetration side, but you know, we can't really argue that. That's game mechanics, or just my luck. But anyway, we're gonna fast forward and into the battles.
Time to roll out.
And in this first replay, we're gonna look at the Pershing, how it handles in a tier 10 game where you are greatly outnumbered and outgunned. And as you can see, it's the highway map, and as usual, all the heavy tanks go into the town part of the map. And me and my fellow Object 416 decides to head off to the hills and the fields. And we quickly realize that no, we're not actually gonna be here for a long time. Unfortunately, the Object 416 decides to go, well, mental, and rushes forward. And you will see why that is a very good idea for the enemy team. He is now spotted. And we have 2 light tanks on this flank. And you can soon understand why. So the Object is now fleeing for his life. And it's not gonna take long until he will regret his decision to go that far. Now, as you know, the downside with the Pershing is that it only has 180 millimeter of penetration on the 90 mil gun, and he's gone. So I'm alone, and all my friends are in town, except my friendly T95, which is well, slowly but steadily heading his way towards the town. But they will soon realize that there's a problem at the base, and I'm gonna do my very best to defend the flag from everything. And soon, magic will happen. And I managed to hit his tracks, but didn't track him. And luck hits once, and the 2 tank destroyer misses me. And there's a Jag Tiger. That Jag Tiger will have a very, very bad day, especially since I'm apparently driving something with a adamant front. First hit. Hits me on the gun mantlet, on the, well, weakest point, but still the strongest because of the this plate, and didn't do any damage. That was 1 hit from him. And that's the second. And that one hit the upper plate on my hull. Okay, so will there be more magic? We managed to penetrate him once more time. And now someone else is shooting me. Probably the tortoise. And as you see, he also managed to hit the upper part of my gun mantlet. But okay, so the enemy light tanks has come into the cap circle, so now it's time to actually defend the thing. We are winning, however, with the 9 to 10, and I actually take my first bit of damage right there. And gun taken out. Quickly repair it, because I really need it. Now, 2 light tanks and 2 tank destroyers. What could possibly go wrong? Well, if the game wants to have it this way, we'll just have to try and remove all the cover the enemy can have. So start by removing the houses. And enemy type 62. Now we are outgunned, yes, and all of the enemy tanks here can actually damage me from the front. As you can see, they're now getting steamrolled. Now you might think this is not a very spectacular match or anything, but I can tell this. I got the most experience from this battle, barely doing any damage, and you'll soon see why. And here we have the results. Not much credit, 45,500 and 2,305 experience, and this is not a double. Now you can see I took some shots at the Jag Tiger and the WZ-132. Not a lot of damage, only 2 critical hits and 1 critical hit here. And it doesn't really show, but as you can see I spotted 4 of the guys, and all 6 took damage while I was spotting them. And as you can see, I got the most experience, only doing 1,000 damage. Albeit this was a tier 10 game, and I did some spotting damage. 4,409 spotting damage, or damage due to the player's resistance. And I also managed to block 2,370 damage. 7 hits received and only 2 penetration, so the tank is kinda unreliable when it comes to armor, but yeah, it's still good. And next, Windstorm in a tier 8 battle. So I usually don't go directly into the town or directly to the well, this area down here. I usually take different routes every time I play. It all really depends on what I'm up against. And seeing as this is an all tier 8 game, or all in all, it's not that many on each team, but still, I'm top tier. I don't have the best gun by far on the team, or in the match, but we can make it work. Now this will also be one of the steamrolling games, but you will actually see me do some damage this time. And unfortunately the armor is not with me, and I missed first shot. Albeit I wasn't really fully aimed, and I only hit the backside of it, but still, second shot hits and does average damage. Now this is a quite powerful position to be in, especially if you have good gun depression and a good turret, which we don't have. But if you keep shooting at my upper mantlet, not gonna do much damage. So we're more or less alone right here. There's a AMX 5100 just on the edge of the mountain there, and one T150 who soon probably not gonna realize that we're here. A Sturry Emil, and as you can see, we're actually penetrating with every shot, more or less. If I manage to hit, that is. And hello, enemy tanks. And I actually take my first bit of damage right there. Yet somehow I managed to bounce from the tank destroyers, which is kind of weird because they usually have more armor penetration. Now the gun is reliable, it will hit most of the time if you're fully aimed. And we got our first kill. And Jag Tiger 88 is a bit harder to damage, and the Tiger is badly parked right there. Now the south side of the map has fallen to our side, and it's time for us to push on. And we take a lot of damage from a Churchill gun carriage and a M44. But as you can see, my team is pushing very hard into the enemy cap or starting area. And the gun carrier is spotted. And most of you will know that it doesn't really have the best armor. It's very flat, but he managed to run away before we could actually do some damage. So I rush forward, managed to miss the SU-152, and he dies. Now luck strikes again, and he managed to damage my ammo rack and almost taking me out, but almost won't do it this time. Now unfortunately I can't repair my ammo rack, and there's only 4 tanks left. And you'd be amazed as how blind some people can be. Now he would have spotted me when I fired that shot, and he should know that I'm here. I'm shooting the back of the turret because ammo rack, of course. And still, he never turned the turret, so he either got this turret knocked out or he just didn't care. Or he didn't see me. We'll never know. And hello, AMX. So, third kill and only 2 enemies left. A Indian Panther or Panzer and a Tiger 2. And of course now is the rush for everyone to get the last kill, or the last 2 kills in this case. And that Indian Panzer is hiding behind the house, so I will never be able to damage him. So instead, we'll go after the Tiger 2. At least we can do some damage to him, hopefully. Now, he was last spotted around the mountains right here, and as you can see, I'm not playing with any mods. And I haven't actually been doing that for the whole of patch 9.3, just because it makes me play better. And that shot should have gone in, but you know, RNG decided that nope. But anyway, let's get close enough to actually spot him. And it's only the Tiger 2 left. And hello. And look at this. How sneaky you can be. But yeah, this game is over now. And let's take a look at the results. And as you can see, 3,936 experience, 51,054 cash, a whole lot of damage, and a lot of spotting. We did spot 5 of the enemy tanks. We assisted in damaging 4, killed 3. Nothing too spectacular, but going by damage, 2,730, 3 kills. Once again, top on the XP counter. And as you can see, we did not bounce that much this time, and we didn't do that much spotting damage, but instead we dealt some damage to the heavier tanks and tank destroyers, and that is really what counts in the Pershing, especially in the same tier.
Time to roll out.
And we're here on Tundra. This is the last replay of the video, and sometimes I like to go total apeshit on the game and decide that screw it, I'm gonna play the game my way. And this is the only game or replay where you'll see me actually do some really stupid things that actually pays off. Now, not many going this side, it's just me and a T-34-85. And behind we have a heavy tank and tank destroyer and another medium, which is the T-69. Now, this side is usually held by tank destroyers, and the first thing we see is an enemy Pershing, which bounces my shot. Okay, so I'm hesitating for a little while, but about now I decide that nope, screw it. Let's take the fight to the enemy. Now, we only spotted one enemy tank, and that is the Pershing. It's gonna get hairier really quick. First bounce, and hello!
They killed our driver. We're covering his position, but not very well.
So, there was a couple more tanks there, and this Pershing is not having the best time in his life. Sneaking in one shot on the KV-85. The Indian Panzer is fleeing for his life, knowing what will come. And taking out, of course, the Jagdpanzer IV before anything else. We don't want more guns shooting at us. Now, as you can see, I'm working this ridge here quite nicely, and why expose more than you need? Shooting at the commander's hatch on the KV-85, of course, because why not? It's a good weak spot as any, but unfortunately someone steals the kill, which is to be expected, but less than 3 minutes in and it's 5-0. Now, rushing in the Pershing is never good. Ever. Except if you can pull this off. But you will need the support of the whole team to do it. So, 6 tanks died because some stupid Swede was foolish enough to rush forward. Yeah. And that Jag Tiger 88 is really lucky with the IS-3. But along came Sally.
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
And you wanna know luck? That's arty. Okay, so we stole 1 kill. How about the IS-3? And lights him on fire. And he doesn't have a fire extinguisher. Second kill secured. And the AMX-12T decides that, screw you guys, I'm gonna ram you. But we don't have anything else to shoot that down here. The only two enemies now is the artillery and the 110. And the game is, well, over, more or less. There isn't really anything the enemy can do. Especially not after this rush. And hello there, M12. Fire on the move, misses. Fire on the move, hits. Now, that's also a good thing. You will hit when firing on the move. And once again, a quite decent enough of cash. The 52,970 is, well, I'd say is not the best, but it's, well, up there somewhere. And 2,368 experience is also after a quite good game. And as you can see, high caliber. We did this quite a lot of damage. And the Bruiser, of course, and the Fire Effect and Arsonist, well, they're new ones. Damage 3,094. Experience 1,053. Can you see a pattern here? It doesn't really matter how you play the tank. You can do well either as a scout in tier 10, a, well, damage magnet at tier 8, or just, you know, running around doing stupid shit like this. And only blocked 1,220 damage. Meh. Took 7 hits and only 3 penetrated, which was quite surprising. And the game would have ended a lot quicker if that artillery did hit us. Luckily, it didn't. So to summarize the Pershing, it's a decent tank, not the best, not the worst, can handle itself pretty well against some tanks. Tanks with more armor, not so much, unless you are spamming APCR, of course. Then you have the amazing top level 335 penetration. Well, of course, that's the top, so average 268. That's good, it's tier 10 value right there. And yeah, if you like faster medium tanks with good rate of fire, somewhat good damage, yeah, then this tank is for you. But it's not my favorite one. That still is the Centurion one, which is why I'm never gonna sell it. But yeah, stay tuned for more reviews, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.